the day that we're doing a bit of a test of some of our fire management systems that we have on our place. You do have to be smart, you do have to be prepared. We were living up in the Dandenong Ranges when the Black Saturday fires happened, and we were in a different property at that stage, and there was a fire in the area that we were at that time, and I remember it being pretty chaotic as we were trying to get to our place, and hubby was actually at the other end of the ranges. He was actually working on a project up there at the time, and he ended up being involved in a lot of the work that was done in the area that was pretty badly hit by the fires up there, and he was actually helping run water trucks during the fires. And yeah, that's definitely been a pretty impactful experience. And very soon after that all happened, that was when we moved to the property that we're on now. So at that time, that made us, pretty acutely aware of fire risk throughout the ranges and made us want to have a really good fire plan. G'day, it's Rachel here from Bushfire Homesteading Australia, and today is the day that we're doing a bit of a test of some of our fire management systems that we have on our place up here in the Dandenong Ranges. So I thought I would just kind of show you the sprinkler system that we have on our roof, and everything seems to be working well. We are in November now, so this is the time of the year we'd like to give everything a little bit of a test around the place just to make sure that things are set up and okay for when we come to fire time. Now we've got a bit of a fire plan here because being in the Dandenong Ranges, it is incredibly fire prone. You can see all that bush behind us there. That all goes up in the valley. This is not the place you want to be, and to be honest, this is not the place we will be. And that is kind of the key first point of our fire plan, is really just not being here at all. But we are kind of acutely aware of the fact that we live in the ranges. There's a road that goes, one lane in each direction, and there is that chance that something could spark up in the night and we potentially couldn't get out. And if that's the case, it's good to have a few defences around the place. Now this here is the sprinkler management system that we've got on the house, and this is just like one thing that we've done. I don't know if this is enough to protect the house. Ideal situation would be we kind of turn on the fire pumps and hoses, get this going and take off, and we're not here, and we come back and hopefully this has helped protect our asset being our house. But it's definitely not something I'd ever want to test, but it is something that affords us a bit of extra protection. We've got a pump that is hooked up to, and I'll show you the pump in a second. In fact, there's two pumps because hubby is pretty keen to have some good redundancy around here. And that's also all plumbed into our 44,000 litre water tank as well. Now it's going to be pretty loud over there, so I might just film. I might have to do a bit of voiceover when I show you that, because I'm not sure that my voice will carry, but we'll see how we go. As I'm headed over to the water tank, this is kind of the front area of the house, and you can kind of see that the garden bed is all getting nice and wet. Pavers are all getting nice and wet as well. So that's also going to afford us a little bit of protection if we ever did need to use this. And here's our pump over here. And this is what hubby is testing out today. And this one is one of the Honda pumps. We've also got a bit of a cheapy eBay one as well as a bit of a backup. Obviously we're losing a bit of water there at the moment. That's not ideal. I'm sure that's something that hubby will pick up fix so that we've got all of this ready for fire season. And here we've got two of our fire hoses. So hubby just got these online from memory, and the idea is that there's the two hoses, so if need be we can hook up each one of those to each one of the pumps, and that can be used around here too. That's a bit better. I guess the other thing is around the water tank we've got rock. Obviously you don't want flammable material around your water tank if you can. And the other thing we have a bit of a focus on each year is just burning off around the place. And the idea really is just to keep as much debris off the ground as possible, just by burning off what we can, composting what we can, and keeping a nice clear area between the bush and the house. And we are quite lucky to have a bit of a decent break here between where the house is and where that bush is starting down there. But again, if this bush ever went up, it would be incredibly intense. We've been very lucky in all the years that we've been here. It hasn't gone up. Previous neighbours that we had here were here where there had been a lightning strike actually over on the property next door, and these days there's just not the access for the CFA that there was back then, and at that time the CFA was able to get through there. We do have a CFA track that kind of runs through the middle of the valley at the back of our place, but it is really, really overgrown at the moment. And that's why I guess we have a lot of those things that I showed you today, you know, those fire pumps that we've got, the hoses that we've got. As I said, the key to our fire plan is not to be here. You know, I don't want to be here if this bush is on fire. I don't want the kids to be here. I don't want hubby to be here if that's happening. But we do want to be as prepared as possible in case anything ever does spark up. And not a position we want to be in, but if you live in a place like this here in Australia in a really high fire danger zone, you do have to be smart, you do have to be prepared. Now, this is obviously our fire plan. It's not something that I'm going to say is right and correct for everyone in different areas. You will have your own CFAs, and they really are the best people to give you a bit of advice as to what to do in your zone. You know, understand things like, you know, if you've got a bushfire safer place in communities like this, you know, where you could potentially go if you can't get out of the district. And learn about those things that you can do just to make sure that your property is fire ready. You know, those things like we do, the things like, you know, burning off and stuff like that. The other key is just to make sure that, I guess, some of those things that are precious to you are, you know, locked away or taken to a safe place when it is that high fire danger time of the year. That's one of the things that I definitely had recommended from the CFA in the early days when we were up here in the ranges and went to one of their information sessions. You might even want to take some of those precious things to a family member's property that is outside of a fire danger zone during those really bad periods. And of course, keep an eye to the apps. So there's some really good emergency apps for us here in Victoria. There's the Vic Emergency Services app, and that I have continuously kind of on with the notifications on my phone during the time of the year where it's really high fire danger, and that way we get notifications when there's incidents anywhere within a certain radius. And I kind of set mine for about 10 k's around here, and if we get a notification, you know, we can have a look and understand what's going on and whether we need to respond in any way. So again, if you're kind of in one of these areas, that's one of the CFA recommendations they tend to say. Make sure that you've got good access to those apps as well. Again, this is our plan. Recommend that you do your own research if you are in a high fire danger area, but yeah, definitely here in Australia, if you're in a high fire danger area, it's a good idea to talk to your country fire associations and learn what you need to do to be nice and safe in these fire risk zones. Thanks a bunch for joining, and catch you later.